In this video, we will be discussing the prop firm bundle, which we have been working on here at Prosperity Algo Solutions for the past few months. Stick around to the end to see if this bundle will absolutely transform how you approach prop firms. So on the general market and in the Forex world, there's quite a few different services which claim to be able to pass your prop firm challenges for you. And many of them have fairly good results and even money-back guarantees. But really the issue is many of these firms and many of these services only offer a service for passing. And quite often they're using either high risk or kind of against the rules techniques to actually pass your challenge, be it high frequency trading or perhaps a very high risk martingale style system. So unfortunately, once they pass, they often leave you with your account and you don't really have a way to generate consistent profits. So what we're trying to do here at Prosperity Algo is develop a prop firm bundle which not only passes, but is also able to generate consistent profits once it passes. And that was kind of the challenge in how we approach this product is what can we do to make something which is super consistent and will be able to generate very, very consistent profits while simultaneously staying within the prop firm rules. And essentially to be able to create that type of product, we looked at a few very sophisticated recovery techniques and applied them to some of our tried and tested opening range breakout systems. And in this presentation, I'm going to kind of walk you through our development methodology so far and when we should be able to actually release this product to the general public. So if you guys are users of ours, you may be familiar with our Golden Time Bomb bot, which is actually available for free. And Golden Time Bomb, as you guys know, trades both the London breakout and the opening range breakout for gold using a scalping style approach. And for a quick review here, the London breakout is simply a break of the key levels created by the Asian range. And the premise here is once you break those levels, price, generally speaking, keeps going far enough to be able to capture a quick profit. And the reason why this is so effective is you're not even necessarily trying to predict direction. You're just trying to predict volatility in a given time window. And if you ever read academic literature on quantitative finance, it's much easier to predict a degree of volatility or just an amount of volume and movement than it is to predict a particular direction. And that's why this style of system works super well. We also trade the opening range breakout of the New York session, which is a very similar approach, except we're using the range created by the pre-market hours. And for the opening range, we also have another expert advisor, which is part of our paid prop bundle. Either a set file for Time Bomb is part of that bundle, or alternatively, some of our users have a dedicated expert advisor called US Lightning. And this one is the exact same approach, except we trade both US 30 and gold. And it's a very effective system, works really well, very, very consistent too. And just to show you guys the back test of both gold as well as the US 30 classic time bomb breakout systems. So we wanted to kind of use these two tried and tested systems that have live track records as the basis of the prop firm bundle, because we know that they work super well, they're consistent, they've been working for months with live track records, and people are just generally speaking comfortable and familiar with them. Moreover, I found that these are the least broker sensitive of any of our expert advisors, just because using fairly big ranges to define your entry points leads to significantly more consistent trades across platforms. Whereas if you were to use more of a candlestick-based entry, you have a lot more variety, and that's not really great if you're looking to have people have fairly consistent results. Because if you're trading a candlestick or an indicator-based entry, one guy could very well be in profit, whereas another person might be taking a loss. And then there's confusion and people are not super happy about that. Therefore, more of these bots which trade using a caller approach. Time Bomb trades twice a day, Lightning trades once a day. It's a really good way to just stay consistent. But the downside with both of these bots is, like any real expert advisor, you do have some losing periods. So here we can see, for instance, with Time Bomb, like there's a few drops here. and we can see with on the US 30 as well, there will be some losing periods too. These are both great bots, so like they're very modest drawdowns. However, there can still very well be some drawdowns. And the issue here is, let's say somebody bought a prop firm challenge. Typically they want to see great performance from day one. So if you happen to buy, let's say, buy the expert advisor here and start your prop firm challenge, you might have to go a few weeks or even a month with relatively flat performance. And people don't love that. So effectively, and rightfully so, we wanted to create a system which is as consistent as possible and just constantly milks profit from the markets. And to do that, we put a big focus here on recovery bots. But before you guys freak out, like it's not a grid martingale or crazy high risk system. Recovery in this case, and I've made a previous video on this, simply refers to having one higher lot size trade post taking a loser. And with these particular systems, which have very high win rates and don't lose very frequently, it's very rare that you will have 2 losses in a row. And that's why having this scaling mechanism can be quite an effective way to smooth your equity curve. And what we did for the prop firm bundles specifically is we made it so that if you were to lose 2 trades in a row and the recovery mechanism were to also lose, you would still stay well within the prop firm risk parameters. And specifically here, we're looking at 1% risk per trade on the first trade. And if you just so happen to actually lose in the recovery trade too, you would have a 4% loss that day, which is still typically within the parameters of a prop firm, but you could also adjust the risk if not, and you would still remain compliant. So in doing so, and by taking this approach, you can essentially benefit from these massive long runs of winners, which last for months upon months, because you're using this recovery mechanism. So this is really the starting point. We want to find a way to have as consistent winning periods as possible to essentially have all of our users have the best customer experience possible, because we want to kind of avoid having a significant variation in outcomes between people who start at different times. And that's typically an issue with expert advisors, because if somebody starts during a winning period, they think you have the holy grail. Whereas if somebody starts during a losing period, they're like, why isn't this thing working? And realistically, it's just because bots have good times and they have bad times. But to be able to kind of make that as consistent as possible, this was the approach chosen. And this is what we're going to be building upon here. So in this slide, you can see a strategy quant portfolio, which has been built on the previous 2 strategies. And you can see here that we're having roughly 100% annual returns, and we have very few periods where the recovery was actually hit. So effectively, this is meant to show that this approach enables more like consistently profitable month-over-month profits. And that's why it was chosen. And just to kind of further illustrate that here too, you can see that month by month, almost every month of the past year was profitable. And there's also a lot of confidence in this backtest, because I have found that with both of these strategies, trading breakouts on gold and the US 30, because we're taking so few trades, the back tests are very accurate. So you have roughly a 90% match, or not higher than 90% match, to live performance, closer to 100 actually. And that just gives a lot of confidence in these results. But really, this shows exactly the point which is being illustrated. You should have very consistent month-over-month profits using this approach, which lends itself really well to prop firms. So really, this is what we're going to be launching in probably a few weeks from now, where effectively we'll be launching a premium prop firm bundle, which is really designed for users who are serious about passing prop firm challenges, but also want a system for consistent profits. So it's not so much just like a quick pass and potentially blow the account. It's meant to be more of a long-term income generating bot portfolio, which can benefit from the opportunity created from prop firms. Right now I'm actually testing this, so I've been running a few different simulations to see which one is ideal, but I want to have a few more weeks of forward testing before really pushing it to the general public. And I'm also planning on including a full-on course with this actual expert advisor bundle, so people would be able to understand how the strategy works, how recovery works, just the best practices around prop firms, as well as how to configure the EAs and to plan for long-term income generation from this bundle. So really, this is what we're working on. We already have a few V1, V2 in practice and deployed on some of our own accounts, but I'm really excited to share this with you guys in a few weeks. But just wanted to give everybody an update so that we know what to look out for. And Please expect to get a few more updates from us on this subject, and I will keep you posted on any progress we have. Drop me a comment if you guys are interested in learning more, and have a great day.